Hi, I'm James McGuire, and on today's eSpeaks, we're talking about unstructured data management and enabling machine learning, two topics that I think will become ever more important in 2022. To discuss that, I'm joined by Krishna Subramanian, Chief Operating Officer at Komprise. Krishna, thanks so much for talking with us today.
Thanks, James.
And I think this is obviously a very busy time of year. We're right smack dab up to the holidays. Are you keeping up with life these days, Krishna?
Yeah, it's been very busy. Clearly, with another variant now, things are going back to a little bit of lockdown, especially in Europe and other places. But fortunately, we're all staying safe and staying busy. So it's all good.
That's good. Very, very good. I'm glad to hear it. Yeah, actually. So, all right, let's talk about unstructured data management and why it's hard. I mean, unstructured data, we know, is information that is not arranged according to a preset data model or schema. So it can't be stored in a good old-fashioned relational database. That's, of course, one of the reasons it's challenging. Why do you see unstructured data management as being difficult and or challenging in your view?
Yeah, it's exactly as you said, James. Unstructured data doesn't have any common schema to it. It can be an audio file, it could be a genomics file, log file, seismic data. All of that is unstructured. 90% of the world's data today is unstructured. The big challenges companies have is that this data is growing at a staggering pace. Most companies are experiencing 30 to 100% plus growth every year of unstructured data, and it's piling up all over the place. It's there in the edge, it's there in department silos, in data centers, and now the cloud. And so people are just trying to make sense of it all. What data do I have? What do I need to move to where? How do I save money on it? And how can I make money with unstructured data? Those are all big challenges.
Well, if companies are going to be scanning social media, I mean, that's really unstructured data, correct?
Yes, that's unstructured data as well. Yes. Yeah. Social media, call center, audio recordings, that's unstructured data. Yeah.
Is it accurate to say that, I mean, you mentioned that figure of 90%, which I think is really interesting. So is it accurate to say that most of the business value there is in unstructured data, or no, it's also unstructured, of course?
We know what the value of structured data is because as an industry, we've been tackling it for over 20, 30 years. I mean, right from the days of Oracle and Sybase and databases to then data warehouses. And now with companies like Snowflake putting data warehouses in the cloud, we know that there's valuable data in our CRM system and in our ERP system, and we know how to get to it. The problem is there's also a lot of valuable data just sitting in S3 or sitting in your file storage in your data center that's now moving to the cloud, sitting at the edge. How do you get value from all that unstructured data that in the past, people didn't really think about as something you needed to analyze?
Is it more expensive if a company wants to really dig into unstructured data and mine that for value? Should they think like, oh, well, it's going to be more expensive to be mining unstructured data?
Yeah, I think you have to know like why and what you want to do with it and what kind of data. So for example, the big reason why companies are moving to the cloud, the two big reasons they're going to the cloud, the first is, of course, you don't have to operate your own data centers. It's the convenience of somebody else doing it for you, hopefully at a better price. So you want to save money and save operating costs, which is important. But the second is you have this elastic compute. You can leverage the processing power of the cloud to make better business outcomes. And it's that second part, how do you make more money with your data? That's where, with the rise of machine learning, people want to leverage their unstructured data. Like, how do I teach a bot to know the, call center recordings where people gave us bad reviews, to analyze it and understand, well, how do we get better reviews, right? So to do things like that, you need to be able to search across all your unstructured data in buckets and file stores, easily find all those recordings where you got a bad review, then copy it into some AI or cognitive service, have it run something on it, tag the data back, put it back. So basically, how do you create structure automatically around unstructured data? How do you enrich unstructured data and turn any data store into a data lake and use it, for your analytics? That is where the industry is headed.
Hmm. Okay, so I'm gonna think about companies out there. They're dealing with getting more from their unstructured data. If they would come to you and say, Krishna, what advice would you give me? What advice would it be? I mean, what are some typical pain points there?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is first, I mean, do you know what you have? I think with unstructured data, because it's piled up in so many silos, people don't even know what they have and is it even valuable? So the first question is, can we do a quick analysis across everything and automatically kind of tell you, hey, you have so much data, so much of this could be valuable, this was created at this time, any kind of high level analytics. Then the
Mhm.
second thing is, how can we automatically index everything so that you don't have to, anytime you ask people to go and do something before you can get some value, like if I told you, hey, all your people have to tag data, then I can tell you what the value is, we'll be waiting for a very long time, right?
Mhm.
How can I automatically do something with data wherever it sits, give you intelligence about your data, and then enrich the data continuously as more and more things happen to it, and manage that. That is where data management can help you harness the power of unstructured data.
That's really interesting. Well, you made up. We were talking earlier about enabling machine learning with file data from data lakes, and you referenced AWS. What is that point? I think it's really important.
Yeah, if you saw some of the announcements AWS made at reInvent this year, there were two big themes. One of the theme was, how do you unlock value of data better? So Amazon's launching more and more cognitive and machine learning services that can operate on S3 data and give you more insight into that data. And the second, and the second theme is really, cloud file storage. How can you bring, because traditionally people created cloud native applications or they brought block data to the cloud. File data tended to stay on premise, it didn't really go to the cloud yet. But
Hmm.
now, file data is coming to the cloud. That's why Amazon is partnering with vendors like NetApp to provide file storage to the cloud. They have their own file storage offerings. Azure is doing the same thing. So with all that file storage coming to the cloud, but guess what? That data also should be part of your data lake. It shouldn't just be
Hmm.
your S3 data. So now you need a way to analyze and index data across S3 and Glacier and your file stores, and then bring it into a Databricks or a Snowflake or an Amazon Comprehend cognitive service. How can you do that? Data management should do all of that for you.
So it's partially an inventory system. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, it is. It is, because unstructured data has no predefined format, how do we automatically index and create that format for you and then enrich it as the data? Like if you run an AI service on the data, if you run PII detection on the data, how can we
Hmm.
take the information from that PII system and enrich the metadata so that the next time you don't have to run a PII service again? We're already able to tell you that, hey, these files have, PII and shouldn't go to these locations. So how do you enrich data continuously?
And that service of inventory management is not offered by, say, Snowflake itself or AWS itself. They need to go to an external third-party provider for that inventory management.
Yeah, so vendors like Snowflake are recognizing that unstructured data is more important. And so they are offering now a way to use Snowflake to analyze the unstructured data, but somebody needs to bring the unstructured data into Snowflake. And the same is true for Databricks. So how do you search billions of objects across hundreds of buckets and accounts and hundreds of file stores to find the relevant data to bring into a Snowflake or a Databricks or a Redshift?
Hmm.
Data management can do that for you.
So that really is Comprise's value offer. We're going to help you funnel the data effectively into, say, Snowflake or Databricks.
Exactly, James. So when we look at it, we say we need to help our customers make money and save money on their unstructured data. That's our goal. So how can we do that? How can we give them a view of data across all their silos? How can we right place the data? Because we know data needs different performance at different times of its life cycle, and you want to optimize cost. So how can we optimize value to cost of the data? And while doing that, how do we index all that data and enrich it so that you're not just saving money, you're actually making money on your data? Those are the problems that Komprise helps solve.
Do you think, just a sort of a business and marketplace question, do you think that Snowflake and other players would realize, hey, this is a service that we should be offering as opposed to these third-party providers, so we're going to go ahead and offer this as well, so which would give your company more competitive, a more competitive challenge? I mean, will that take place, or Snowflake won't wake up and realize we should be offering this as well?
I can't speak for them. I can just
No,
say
right.
that historically on the structured data side, Snowflake has partnered with players like Fivetran or Informatica to extract and ingest structured data. And I do so if they follow that same pattern, which is what they seem to be doing. We're in discussions with Snowflake and Databricks and others. For unstructured data as well, they want partners to do that part, and they want to provide the best compute platform for that data. That's their focus.
Interesting. Okay, so they want to focus on their core focus, and then Comprise will offer its core focus. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Let's look ahead then. I think it's obviously handling unstructured data is really is a rapid growth market. I mean, so if you look ahead for the future of unstructured data management, maybe a year or a few years out, and what do you see, and how can companies get ready for it now?
I think the two truths of unstructured data is that unstructured data is going to continue to grow exponentially, and only constant is change. You're going to have even more innovation than you had today. There's going to be more data at the edge. We haven't even scratched the surface of data piling up at the edge yet. That's going to grow. So
Wow.
as a customer, what that means is look for solutions that don't lock you in. Look for solutions that are built on standards that can scale with your data growth and provide you flexibility and put you in control of the data, because nobody should own your data. It's your corporate asset that it should be completely in your control.
I like the sound of that. Krishna, I think you said it. I definitely learned quite a bit. Thank you very much for sharing your insights today.
Thank you very much, James. Happy holidays.
Same to you.